Good day. I want to give some feedback on the Swift challenge, and it's this icon I created for it. It's this recursive um, infinite navigation that I'll illustrate in a moment, but that's what the icon tries to capture. So what I did last week? Well, last week was my wife's birthday. That was nice. My daughter wants to get married. We had a few heated discussions about that. I managed to walk 25 kilometers. That was nice as well. I upped the weights a little bit at the gym, really by accident, but that was nice as well. Then I spent a lot of time on the Zindi challenge, the cryptocurrency one, where I used beta regression and an assumption of Cauchy distribution residuals to increase my out of fold score by a little bit. Um, However, if I look at the leaderboard, I'm dropping by the day. As more people compete, it seems I'm struggling to make progress at the moment. I'm number um, 78. My goodness. And so that didn't go well. At least in these two challenges, still my team is still number one by a big margin. So that is good. What else did I do? Oh yes, it was the Swift Developer Challenge that I participated in. Now, the challenge suggested that you spend around 4 hours, and these are the actions I identified: navigation, layout, styling, and other. And from the description of the challenge and the requirements, I sort of deduced that the idea was that you spend more time on the layout. It's really a layout challenge, a little bit more than average on the navigation, and the rest of the time on styling and other, for example, on test and so on. However, in reality, I think I've spent close to 30 hours on it by now, including this video. That's maybe a bit of an overstatement. Let's make it 20 or 25, somewhere here. But I've spent a lot of time, and most of the time on other things. I've tested it thoroughly. I've spent a lot of time on the model that sits behind this. Little time of the on the navigation, a bit more than I think was planned originally on the styling, and not nearly as much on the layout as I expected or as it seems the challenge demanded. So let me show you my planning. This is my planning for the challenge. It really is a layout challenge. It's recursive and dynamic, and you've got these things: a row, and a column, and a stack. So initially, my idea with a column, for example, was maybe there's a revolving door type display. The stack, maybe you can swipe things up and down, stuff like that. But eventually, the heart of this challenge really is this recursive navigation from one widget to the next, and that's of course where the icon comes from as well, and that's what I spent time on. The stack was the most difficult one, also the nicest one because it allows you to do these nice animations. Initially, I thought to arrange it in a square using the root of the number of elements, but eventually I just threw it out, filled up the available space, and I'll show that in a moment. Now, looking at the current app, that I use that a lot for guidance. So I looked at the app to get an idea of what you are trying to accomplish, and you know what the content looks like that you navigate. So I looked a bit at that. Looking at this also, maybe we can style it a bit better, a bit more iOS-y, and that's what I really try to do with the app. But without further ado, let me show you the app itself. Okay, so here's the app. Let's fire it up, and there you see. So I've got a navigation window, a couple of items here currently laid out as rows, and on left. and all the items inside here are simulated. I know you provided some JSON to pick that up from, but I simulated the JSON because I had a few questions around it, and I sort of made my own assumptions, and also wanted to illustrate these lists, if you want to know what I think. Okay, so you've got those, stack, image, and so on, a whole bunch of items. And you can reload them, that simulates a reload, and every now and again, it will also simulate an error. If, for example, some download error, all of the processing happens on the background, and then it gets pushed to the foreground. So that's what's happening here. It simulates a few items between 5 and 10, and you can add more, and you can add a whole lot. I've got a whole lot of them that are still loading and updating the display as they. Okay, so let me show you one of them. Let's start with those. So I'm just going to pick out those and go with that for now. Here you see simulated those. This time they are simulated center. Let's go to more of those. Another set of those. This time left aligned, center, again left, left, left. Now those in this one. Let's refresh it. This time was center aligned. And eventually I should get one that is, there we go, that's was simulated. That's right aligned. So every now and again you should get those that are right aligned. It seems I'm really hunting for them at the moment. But I think you get the idea at least of the there we go, again simulated. There we go. This time I navigated to a set of and but you get the idea. Those are just presented like that in a list of items, and they are either left, center, or right. Okay, so let's go back a bit. Just going to cycle back a bit. Also, as I cycle back, it shows me where I'm coming from. That's those that I went to before. And if I go back there, they will load immediately. They are cached. These items are now cached, and that's what you see over there. So I'm just going to go back to get the title a bit shorter as well. Which will be columns. So let's highlight at the top now. Yeah, I've got a long list of items. So let's go with columns. So let's select that one. These columns are bottom aligned. And there you can see all of them. They style a bit differently because this would be maybe images or contexts used for different content. Let me find these more columns. No columns here. Let's add a few items. Still no columns. Let's add some more. There's columns. And you get the idea. Bottom aligned, all of these. That one's top aligned. Bottom aligned one. Another top. Looking for a center. Now there's a center aligned columns. Another center. And so on. So that's how the columns work. Basic principle. Same basic principle. It highlights the one that I'm coming from as I go back. These ones are now cached and they will display immediately. They won't load again. And let's go back to the top. Okay, so we've looked at columns, we've looked at those. Let's look at a stack. A stack shows you this nice display and it animates it open. If you click on it, if you click again, it will cycle to the item. And when you come back here, the next time the item you selected will be on top. Right? It doesn't highlight that, but it does put it on top. So let's add some items here as well. Here's another stack. And you can see the item dynamically loading, the stack expanding, and let's select another stack, same story, another stack, and so on. So that's how I can navigate the stacks and how I present it at the moment. Well, that's about it. Let me show you some images. There you see an image. You can swap it with another one if you want. Um, or you can get some text. Let me show you a text item. There's one. There's a text item. It simulates the font. There's some Ipsum text that you can change. And if you simulate again, it will also simulate the font into something different. So it changes the JSON and then of course the font from the JSON. Here you can see left, right, center, different text that it's getting from this Ipsum address. And yeah, that's it. So that's the image or the app showed you. Showing you everything. To scrolling, different controls, adding items, performance is good. Applications. Maybe not entirely as you've asked, just some assumption made, nice image. And well, that's it.